So Mixolydian, what is it? What does it mean to bass players? There are modes that you're really going to need to know, and then there are modes that you probably can get away with not knowing so much. Lydian is one of those modes that you should probably know, because as you could hear in the intro to this video, most walking blues bass lines are in Mixolydian. And there are quite a bit of pop songs, quite a bit of rock songs that are in Mixolydian. For example, Welcome to the Jungle is in Mixolydian. You've got the Beatles' Day Tripper. You've got Stevie Ray Vaughan, Caught in the Crossfire. I mean, and the list goes on. You've got Pretty Woman. I mean, I could sit here all day literally and play songs of Mixolydian. So what is Mixolydian? Before you can even explore the modes, it's important that you know the major scale. So if you know your E major scale, right? Mixolydian is the major scale, but with one note changed. Instead of playing this 7, you play a flat 7. So instead of playing, you play in the beginning. I would just, worry about 3 notes. If you're just starting out, just concern yourself with 3 notes. Let's make this easy. So we've got the E, or the 1. We've got the major third. And we've got the flat 7. Why do we call that a flat 7? Because in our major scale, that's our natural 7. So we go down a half step, play that flat 7. So in the beginning, I would just worry about just 3 notes, and then you can expand out from there. So go E, or 1, major third, flat 7, and do it all over the neck. You can see the pattern. It looks like an arrow almost. You've got this note, that note, this note, and you can see it looks like a little teepee. Just to get your ears used to it. So what I would do is I would pull up a drum beat and just play those 3 notes all over the neck, say in G, and play along with the rhythm so you can internalize how the notes would work in a time sense. So for example, I mean, you can make up a pretty cool bass line just with those 3 notes. And then play it somewhere else on the neck. My action's a little low. My strings are grinding. And you don't have to play it in a 1-4-5 blues. You can play it anywhere. I just want you to get used to hearing these 3 notes and their relationship. So I'll play it in that. You can just do 1 note at a time. And then once you get those 3 notes down, maybe add the 5. All right. But let's just keep it simple. I don't want to give you a whole bunch of homework and stuff. You got to really. That was one of the big problems learning for me. I learned over the course of decades of just being thrown into situations where I had to play. I grew up in a relatively small city, and there was just a handful of bass players. And as soon as I learned how to play the Mixolydian mode, basically, noodle around in Mixolydian, I was gigging. And so I didn't really know it was Mixolydian. I just knew them as blues riffs that some of the older players would teach me. And back then there was all these like dive bars around here to play in, And there was no bands or band rehearsals. So, you know, you would just have a clique of musicians you kind of ran with, and somebody would get a gig somewhere and you'd get a phone call and say, hey, can you come down to Mort's Bar on Friday night and play for $100? And $100 back in the 80s, man, that was good money back then, boy. And you'd show up to these gigs and there were no set lists. The guitar player was usually the singer and the leader of the band, the guy that got the gig. Like if the guitar player was going, you would go. You had to be able to cop that rhythm. You had to be able to hear it. You had to be able to hear the rhythm. You had to be able to hear the chords that were being played. And I didn't learn this in a book. It was like, hey, there I was playing for all the drunk people at Mort's Bar on a Friday night. Fortunately, growing up in the place I did, I could go and I could learn on stage. And yeah, I made tons of mistakes, but you know, sometimes I'd get the look, and then after the gig, the guitar player / singer / band leader, he'd sit me down and be like, no, you got to play this figure here and this chord here. And we never used words or names. We never like Mixolydian, blah, blah, blah. It was just, so whenever you hear this, play this, you know? And so what I'm trying to do with this series of videos is I'm trying to kind of sidestep the math part of it. I want to try and teach it the way I learned it. And that's just hearing it, feeling it. As we progress forward, hopefully I get better at teaching. This is my second video and I've got a long way to go, but you know, bear with me, and I don't know, maybe we can get through this, and I don't know, maybe there's something to be learned here. All right, thanks. Have a good day.